We're gonna try something different today. It's gonna be a little tale of what happens when you talk junk and you don't know what you're talking about. This is a guy named Klaus of Torah. He was, you see the title, he was talking about Genesis 1:1. And, if you watch the video, you see my credentials, you see my knowledge of biblical Hebrew. Not quite advanced, but somewhere up there. And when you take the time, the dedication of 40 weeks, a year to plus to learning, studying, reading, parsing, then you get to talk your mind, and you know what you're talking about. And then you got people, like I say, novice like to come on the board and try to act like they know what they're talking about. So we're gonna take a little quick listen and look at the board real quick.
We are going to be talking about Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. I'm going to be approaching this from a very simple point of view. Many commentaries and oceans of knowledge on this one verse. But I'm going to walk through it a little bit and just keep it as simple as possible. So, in the beginning, God created the Aleph and the Tav. This would be the beginning and the end.
Said the Aleph and the Tav. The Aleph and the Tav. Eighth is called the sign of the accusative or the direct object marker. All it is a feature in biblical Hebrew. I believe it's a feature in Aramaic as well. Once the languages lost case endings, they moved to eighth. The sign of the accusative is definite, a direct object marker. So when a verb needs to denote the object that it's talking about, that it's describing, they use it to say, hey. One thing that I like to do is whenever I'm reading and the verb comes, let's say if it's halak, he went, he walked, or well, that might not be. I say shamar, he broke. I like to say he broke what, and the et is like telling you what he broke, or whatever the verb is describing. If it's he called what or who. So just the eighth, when it's reduced, all it does is denote the object of the verb. So if we look in the comments, if I can find it, this comment right here. This is what I told him. It's eighth, it doesn't mean anything about the beginning or the end. All it represents is simply the direct object marker. But this video isn't about him. This video is about these two numbnuts in the comments section. Like this guy, Jonathan, or Yehonathan, Natan, and what's the other guy? God doesn't have whatever. So I accidentally, well, this comment right here, I accidentally left this comment under his, or this comment under his comment by mistake. I thought I was doing it on the board. So if you see, I thought this was going to be insightful, at least stating academic, scholarly, linguistical information such as Bereshit. If you see, I left the olive out. It should be Beit Resh Olive Sheen Yo Tau. And honestly, I was at my mom's. I was eating. I was just rushing to kind of type, and I left out the olive. Such as Bereshit lightly, and like Bereshit is scholarly thought, academic thought, that Bereshit is an infinitive construct, such as like in the Enuma Elish. That way they would be like correlating one to one. But this guy, Yehonathan, all he could focus on was that I left out the olive in Bereshit. And right here I said it was a simple mistake. And I'm not worried about it. I actually was thinking that there was an alternative spelling where the Kois and olive drops out. Now, if anybody knows in biblical Hebrew, there's a lot of alternative spellings. You can spell something one way, you can spell the word the same way, spell the same word a different way. Some of them are simple, like lo. You can have lamet, holem, wa, and olive, or you can just have lamet, olive, lamet, holem, olive. That's just a simple one. Well, he says that there is always, so if you see in the second comment that I just hit, he put Ibrit with two yods. I've never seen Ibrit spelled like that. And I put this in this comment right there. Like, I've never seen Hebrew spelled with two yods. So then this guy jumps in. Gosh dang it. So God doesn't have a savior or whatever. Why is it not? He says, what the hell you just said? You were thinking there's an alternative spelling of the word Bereshit when the olive drops? And then he backs up to Jonathan and he says, adding a yod to the word Hebrew isn't critical. So it's not critical that you're adding a yod in between the first and second root radical. That's not critical to him. And then him being a novice, he thinks he needs to tell me that bait means in and it's pronounced B when it's really bit. And Rashit or Hershith is beginning. And he says an extra yod and is still correct. And he says Rashid and calls me a clown. Okay, whatever. So I said, yeah, you people are novice to biblical Hebrew. There are many alternative spellings. For example, Rishon has an alternative spelling, Rishon. As you see, the Kois and olive has dropped. Another example is Korah, can be spelled Korah with the H, with a hey. So you people are making a big deal out of something that is a feature of biblical Hebrew that you always don't know. So this guy says the word Rishon is spelled with the olive always, and the word Korah means to call or read, but when it is spelled with a hey, ra, it means happening or happen. As in ma ra. Okay, you got a problem with that. Ra, both spellings mean to call, to read aloud, to proclaim. Makra is a modern slang. You can't find it in biblical Hebrew corpus. And so that got me thinking, okay, this guy is a modern, he might be Jewish. To think that it might be a modern Hebrew enthusiast. So this I pointed to, this was directed to God doesn't have a savior that never saved. I pointed out that adding a yod in between the first and second root radical of Iprit, there's no noun, Hebrew noun pattern like that. So, and then if right here at the end I'm saying, but fuck it, I made a mistake. For like the third time I meant it, I messed up. Okay, but they're never addressing. And you might not have seen, but I asked them like, eighth, what do y'all think? Eighth, is it true that it's more than just the sign of accusative or the direct object marker? Does it mean beginning and end like this guy in the video was saying? And none of them, all they kept talking about is that olive that I forgot. So if we go to Jonathan, he said, I read the scriptures. He's been reading it since a little boy, but he does not know that Rishon has an alternate spelling, Rishon. So then this guy, God doesn't have a savior. He asked Davon, the guy who made the video, have you ever heard of such a thing as an alternative spelling? And if you see my comment, why are you asking Davon? He's admitted he doesn't know biblical Hebrew. He said it himself. He tried to learn and he gave up. He couldn't even learn biblical Hebrew. So this guy, this novice, is asking somebody who he thinks knows, but has admitted he doesn't know. So I gave him. And then I gave him the source. An Introduction to Biblical Hebrew, Alan P. Ross, chapter 25, section 6, and I quote, ordinal number first is expressed by the word Rishon or Rishon or Rishon, related to Rosh, head, beginning. Right here, I pointed out to Jonathan that Makara is a modern thing. So this novice, this guy, the root word of Rishon is Rosh Aleph Shin. Please tell me now what is the root of this non-existent word Rishon. I am waiting. And as you see, this is 11 days ago. Where we start? That was 12 days ago. So here's what I just read. And I'm like, oh my gosh, bro. The shurish, or the root for Rishon is Rosh Aleph Shin. The olive has dropped. And I'm asking him again, now tell me, what does eighth mean? Or eth with a makaf when the vowel has reduced. And is he meaning Davon, right, it means beginning and end. So that was another day passed, and these guys still haven't never answered my question. So this is where the thick of it gets. This is where you should always, instead of trying to run your mouth online, sometimes you need to just shut up and listen and ask questions. So I knew the answer. At this point, I knew I had them. Because for one, I asked, I went to Animated Hebrew where he talked about ordinal numbers, and I put a comment and I asked, I've seen in Alan P. Ross's book, he has an alternate form of Rishon as Rishon, but I can't find it in the Tanakh. And he gave me, the next day, he sent me a message and gave me 2 verses. So I was like, okay, I got them. I got 2 verses in the Tanakh that's going to show these dudes that they're wrong. And I said, you're such an amateur. I don't even know why I waste my time with you low-level special ed kids. And I asked that guy Jonathan, the Jewish guy, what are you willing to put up if I prove there's an alternate form to Rishon? I give you 2 verses as proof, and when I do, you have to admit you're a modern Hebrew enthusiast, and I know more about biblical Hebrew than you. And then the other guy, God doesn't save, have a Savior that never saved. So when I show these 2 verses in the Hebrew Tanakh where the alternate form of Rishon is used, are you willing to admit you don't know what you're talking about, and you need to stay in your place when people talk about a subject you have no clue on, and just listen and learn? Are you willing to admit that? And then I said, the same day, I doubt I'll ever hear back from neither of you because you're cowards. Since I still haven't heard you 2 answer me about what eighth means, or eth if you have the makaf and the vowels reduced. Like all that talking about the dropped olive, the olive that I forgot, and then I'm trying to cover face saying I thought it might have been an alternate form because I knew there was some forms where olive dropped. All they could talk about was that olive. They couldn't talk about the subject. They couldn't talk about eighth. They couldn't talk about Bereshit maybe being a infinitive construct. They couldn't talk about anything else except for the olive. So here I gave them the 2 verses that Animated Hebrew gave me. Joshua 21:10 and Job 8:10. Let's go. Yep, here's it. Yep. Joshua 8:10. Wayehi. You have a makaf. Usually this is Wahi, but since there's a makaf, you stop. Wayehi libnei Aharon mimesh pechoth hakahathi mibnei lewi ki lahem haya hagorol hagoral rishona. You have a soft pasuk and a saluk. But there's the alternate form in Joshua 10 Joshua 21:10, Rishona. That's the feminine form. Now we'll go to Job 8:8. Kisha Alna, Dedor, Rishon, Wechonain, Lechaker, Abotham. Saluk and Salpasuk. Forgot about the Atnox in both of them, but there's your alternate form to Rishon. So this is just a little tale of two dummies. God doesn't have a savior that doesn't save, and Jonathan, Yehonatan. It's just a little case study of what happens when you run your mouth online like you think you know something. Now, I'm gonna say this. I think about a lot of times when I was new to biblical Hebrew, I had studied just a little bit, and I was talking this and talking that, and I end up being wrong. And it made me think like, damn, I wish I wouldn't have said that, or damn, made me look stupid. And my first biblical Hebrew teacher, Netanyahu, I remember he never comments, or he barely, if any, comments on like Facebook. He would be like, I see all those comments, and I see all those back and forth, but I don't comment because there's no reason why I should. But it's best if you don't know something, just shut up and learn from other people, or you're gonna get embarrassed like these two cowards. God doesn't have a savior and Yehonathan. It's like I said, I doubt I ever hear back from neither of you because you're cowards. And I've waited 12 days. 12 days for some ages. This was back and forth. And they still hadn't commented. They can't even say, my bad. They can't even say, I was wrong. Fixated on an olive. These two novice. And one of them's a Jewish guy that said he's been studying since he was young. And a black guy from North Carolina showed him wrong. Just study your Tanakh. Get into your grammar, learn grammar rules, and make these idiots look stupid. Show them that they stupid. Now, I'm gonna make another video on this guy, Klaus of Torah, on his Genesis 1:1 commentary of that eighth means beginning and ending in the next video.